student, I decided to go ahead and make a video and kind of help students who might be trying to figure out if they wanted to go the IMG route, go into an IMG International Medical School, or try and tough it out and go with the US Medical School. I myself am an IMG medical student, and I'm now currently back in the States, about to start my rotations, so everything has worked out for me. But what's good for me might not necessarily be what's good for you. But I just kind of wanted to talk about that, kind of like the pros and the cons of doing that if that's what you decide to do, and just kind of giving you some advice about it so you wouldn't be going into it completely blind, because I kind of went into it a little bit blind, just trying to achieve my goal. So a backstory to all that, just so you know, I did apply to some medical schools. I got waitlisted at one, and during this time, I had just graduated from Armstrong State University in Savannah, Georgia, and got my master's in public health. And also during this time, while I was studying for my MCAT, unfortunately, I had some family issues. My mom had brain aneurysm, and she survived, thank God. But all these different things kind of weighed in on how well I did on my MCAT. I still did okay. That was a big trying time for me, so I wasn't really trying to go ahead and go through that grueling process again, and taking it again. I was older. I was 28 at the time, and I was like, you know what, I just want to go ahead and get it started. So I decided to go ahead and apply to an IMG medical school, which I did, and I'm so grateful that I did. I went to the University of Medicine and Health Science, which is located on St. Kitts. I did very much enjoy my time there. It was just as difficult, if not more difficult, than a U.S. medical school, because the teachers knew, as well as the students, the president, they knew that we had to prove ourselves. They knew that we had to go a step above and beyond, because there is stigma around IMG medical schools. And I wouldn't say we didn't get the same amount of teaching and training, because I had to work very hard for my grades. We had wonderful professors. Some were doctors, actual MDs. Some had their PhD. So they were just amazing. So I can't necessarily say or knock anything with regards to the quality of the education, because I think it was good. And now coming back over to the United States and interacting with U.S. medical students, sometimes I know more than they do. Sometimes they do know more than me, because, of course, no one person knows everything. But I would say that I'm pretty much on the same playing field as they are. I did take my Step 1 exam. I did good. And, now I'm going to be starting my rotation. And I wasn't hindered there either. So, these are things to think about. Don't know what your story necessarily is. Hopefully I am able to kind of help someone else out decide to just go ahead and go for it, or just give you a perspective, a different perspective, someone who actually went through it. Let's see. Also, I would say the pro about going to an international medical school is that you're isolated. You're away from what you know. You're away from friends. You're away from family. So there's no one really there to distract you. And, the only person really that can distract you is yourself, if you allow yourself to be distracted. And that can be easy, because you are on an island with beautiful beaches, and a place where a lot of people go to for vacation. So you do have to have a certain level of willpower, uh, but that's kind of balanced out because you don't have the friends, the family there that could potentially distract you. The cons of going in to an IMG school. I personally did not purchase a car while I was there. Not because I didn't think that I couldn't follow the traffic rules in that country. It was just because I was already paying a car note on my car that was still in the States. And I was not trying to pay for another car, let alone pay a whole nother car note. That just wasn't going to happen. So I fortunately lived close enough to the school where I was able to walk every day. I do know some classmates that had cars, and that worked out well for them, but they also didn't necessarily have another car that they were paying for back in the States or was already paid off. So that's kind of a transportation issues. But in St. Kitts, they did have public transportation, the vans or the buses there that took you from point A to point B. So that really wasn't an issue, but for some, that might be something you need to consider. Um, let's see, another con would be weather. For example, I had to undergo a hurricane. I can't remember what it was, but the name of it, which hurricane it was, but I did. It was a stage 5, and at the last minute, it did go to another island, and it actually, I forget the island that Ross University, the medical school, is on. I don't know if it's Grenada. I don't know, but it kind of messed up their school, and they were actually stationed out on a cruise ship. Of course, not. I mean, it was a fully functional cruise ship, but it was without uh, the amenities of a cruise. They turned it kind of into a workstation, a big boat that was just a school. So, they were kind of stationed out. Ross University, those that were not U.S. citizens were stationed out on the boat in front of St. Kitts, and they had to do their schooling there. So, again, weather is something that you might have to consider when trying to determine if you want to go ahead and do IMG school. Let's see, I'm trying to think of something else that you guys might want to know about. Oh, just the laws of whatever country that you go to. It's very different than America. In America, for example, housing. If you don't agree with your landlord, or something happens, you can just take someone to court and get everything taken care of. But things don't necessarily work like that in other countries, and sometimes the law will be in favor of the citizen of that country, which wouldn't be you, especially if you are a citizen of the United States. So that's something you have to consider. Language barriers. But overall, if I had to rate my experience, I would give it a solid 9. I enjoyed myself. I learned a lot. I am now 2 years later, currently back in the States and awaiting my rotation. I'm going to be doing my rotation actually in Miami. So I'm excited about that. Not that I'll be doing too much, sightseeing, but nevertheless, I'll be in Miami. So, it is possible, and it is something that you could definitely do. Don't be discouraged if you don't get into a U.S. medical school. There are many ways to skin a cat, basically. Don't let someone tell you, oh, if you didn't get into this U.S. school, you're no good, you should just give up. No. I say if this is something that you want to do, you go full force, full steam ahead, and you make it happen. Don't let one, two, three, four, five no's tell you, you basically be the determining factor to your future. You make your future. Um, so yeah, go ahead and give it a shot. Don't give up on your dreams, and make your dreams reality. I know I did, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful that I didn't give up, and I'm sitting here today, hopefully encouraging someone else who was just like me or a similar situation to go ahead and shoot for the stars. So make sure you go ahead and like, comment, or subscribe to my channel. And thanks for watching.